Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are doing something a little different. Usually, we look at history stuff that happened 100, maybe 1,000 years ago.
Right.
You know, the Roman Empire, the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
Today, we are looking at prehistory.
Way, way prehistory. I mean, before the history books were even a concept.
We're talking about the very first argument in existence. And I don't mean a dispute between two cavemen fighting over a fire.
No.
I mean the first cosmic dispute that, well, arguably set the stage for literally everything that has happened to the human race since.
It's a massive topic. We're diving into Tafseer ibn Kathir, specifically focusing on Surah Al Araf.
The heights.
In English, yeah, the heights.
Now, for anyone listening who hasn't spent time with, Tafseer ibn Kathir or classical exegesis, we should probably set the stage. This isn't just a translation of the text, is it?
Oh, not at all. This is the deep dive manual. Think of the Quran as the primary text, sort of like the source code. The Tafsir, especially Ibn Kathir's, is like the comprehensive documentation that explains how that code functions. He connects verses to hadith.
But prophetic traditions.
Exactly. He looks at linguistic roots. He pulls in poetry, historical context. It's really considered the heavyweight champion of exegesis.
So our mission today is to unpack three specific layers. First, the origins of humanity. Second, the military tactics of our oldest enemy.
And it is a military strategy.
And third, this panoramic view of the afterlife that includes a mysterious third place that, honestly, I hadn't thought much about before prepping for this.
It's the place that gives the surah its name Al Araf, but you can't really get the ending if you don't understand the beginning.
Okay, so let's start at the very, very start, creation. The source material lays out a timeline here that is surprisingly specific.
It does. I mean, most people have heard created in 6 days, but the Tafsir gets granular. It maps it to our week, Sunday to Friday.
And Adam, the first human, he isn't created on Monday or Wednesday.
No, he's created on Friday.
End of the work week.
But not just Friday. Friday afternoon.
See, my first thought there, and maybe this says too much about me, is, was it a rush job? Like turning in your homework at 4:59 p.m. Let's just get this done.
That's how we'd see it, sure. But the context here is different. He was created in the late afternoon, just before night. It signifies he was the final creation.
The culmination.
The stage was fully set, the lights were rigged, the props in place, and then at the very last moment, the main character walks on.
The headliner. Okay, that makes sense. So Adam arrives, but the drama begins immediately. Allah commands the angels to prostrate to Adam.
A test of obedience. And the angels, beings of light, they obey instantly. No hesitation.
But there's one dissenter.
Iblis. Shaitan. And this is where the Tafsir it blew my mind a little. Because we usually just think of him as rebellious, a flat no. But the source breaks down his argument.
He uses logic.
He does. And Ibn Kathir points out this is the first recorded instance of qiyas.
Qiyas. Unpack that for us.
So, in Islamic law, qiyas is analogical deduction. You look at an existing rule and apply it to a new situation. It's like a legal precedent.
He's trying to act like a lawyer.
Exactly. But he's doing it against a direct command. And Ibn Kathir notes he used it completely incorrectly. It was the first bad take in history.
So what was his logic?
It's the better than fallacy. Iblis says, I am better than him. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay.
Fire versus clay. Okay, play devil's advocate with me for a second.
Go for it.
If I'm Iblis, I'm looking at myself. Fire is energy, it's light, it rises, it's powerful. Then I'll look at Adam. He's mud. He's dirt. On the surface, he has a point, doesn't he?
That's exactly the trap he fell into. He looked at the origin material, not the honor bestowed by the creator. But this is where the Tafsir flips it. Ibn Kathir notes his analogy was flawed, even by, physical standards.
How so?
Think about fire. What does it do?
Burns things. Consumes.
It burns. It's reckless. It's hasty. It's unstable. Now think about clay. Earth. What does that represent?
A structure.
Stability, forbearance, growth. You can build with clay. You grow food in the earth. Fire destroys. Clay flourishes.
Wow. So he was arrogant about being destructive.
Well,
he thought volatility was superior to stability.
Precisely. And because of that false logic, he refuses the command.
And the result is immediate. The source uses these heavy words, maduman madhura.
Disgrace and expelled.
But he doesn't just leave. This is where it gets chilling. He turns around and negotiates.
He asks for a delay. A respite until the day of judgment. He wants time.
And he gets it.
He gets it. And he goes from being a rebel in the court to a general planning an ambush. He declares war.
This part really gave me chills. He lays out his strategy. He says, I will sit and wait against them on your straight path.
The location is crucial. He's not in the dark alleys or the places we think of as sinful.
He's on the straight path.
He's targeting the people trying to be good. If you're already off the path, he doesn't need to ambush you. You're already lost.
That's terrifying. And then he listed the directions of attack.
Then I will come to them from before them and behind them, from their right and from their left.
A total encirclement.
Almost total. There's a nuance the Tafseer highlights. He lists 4 directions, but he misses 2.
What's missing?
He doesn't say from below, and he doesn't say from above.
And why not from above?
Because mercy descends from above. Shaitan knows he cannot block the direct connection between a servant and God if the servant looks up.
So as long as you look up, the siege is broken.
That's the idea.
So the battle lines are drawn. We move from the heavenly court to the first skirmish. The garden.
Adam and Hawa. Eve. They're in paradise. One rule. Don't approach the specific tree.
And Shaitan doesn't just say, hey, disobey God. That wouldn't work on Adam.
No way. They're in the presence of the divine. So Shaitan has to reframe the narrative. He has to spin it. He plays on their FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
Exactly. He whispers, your Lord only forbade this tree so you wouldn't become angels or immortals.
He's basically saying God is holding out on you.
But the key detail is how he convinced them. The verse says, Qasamahuma. He swore an oath.
He swore by Allah.
He swore by Allah. I am a sincere well-wisher to you.
Oh, that's tragic. I mean, Adam is pure. He probably couldn't even conceive that someone would swear by God and lie.
And that's a huge takeaway. The Tafseer notes a believer can be deceived specifically because of their sincerity. He hacked their innocence.
So they eat, and the consequence, it's not elevation.
No, the exact opposite. Their spiritual raiment was stripped from them. Their private parts became visible. They expected to rise, and instead they were degraded.
And their reaction is so different from Iblis's.
Worlds apart, Iblis argued. I'm better, Adam and Hawa. They scrambled to cover themselves, the source says, with fig leaves, and they immediately admitted fault.
Our Lord, we have wronged ourselves.
And that's the pivot point of humanity. It's not about not sinning. It's about what you do after.
So they're sent down to earth.
Yeah.
And this theme of clothing carries over. The surah addresses the children of Adam directly.
It does. It distinguishes between 2 types of clothes. Libas, your essential covering, and rish, which is adornment, beauty.
And it says both are okay, right?
Yes. Dignity is part of faith. But then it drops the big one, the libas of taqwa.
The clothing of God consciousness.
Exactly. You can wear the finest suit, but if you don't have the clothing of character, of awareness of God, you're still exposed.
Speaking of being exposed,
yeah,
we have to talk about the naked dwarf.
Loss, I wondered when we'd get here.
I read this and had to do a double take.
Yeah.
The Tafseer explains that before Islam, the Arabs, except for the Quraysh, used to circle the Kaaba completely naked.
Completely. Men during the day, women at night.
What was the logic there?
Believe it or not, it was a twisted form of piety.
Piety, how?
Their reasoning was, we cannot worship Allah wearing the same clothes we sinned in.
Okay, so instead of changing their clothes.
They just took them off. They thought their clothes were contaminated, so they stripped down to be pure.
That is certainly a choice. It just shows how human logic can go off the rails without guidance.
Exactly, and the verse, take your adornment to every masjid, was revealed specifically to stop this. It commanded them, wear your clothes, be dignified.
It's a correction. And the surah also talks about what we put inside our bodies. Eat and drink, but waste not.
Which brings up the famous 1/3 rule.
Yeah, I love this one. It's so practical.
The guideline is, the stomach should be 1/3 for food, 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 for breath.
I think after a big meal, I'm usually at 0/3 for breath.
We've all been there. And that's the point. It critiques those who forbid good things, but also those who just consume mindlessly.
It's about balance.
And that transitions perfectly to where the surah goes next. From creation, to the fall, to life on earth, now, to the judgment.
The weighing.
Mizan. The scale. And Ibn Kathir emphasizes this is not just a metaphor. The weighing is real.
There are 2 images here that are just incredible. The first one is the story of the card, the Bataga.
Yeah, this is a famous hadith. A man is brought forward and 99 scrolls of his bad deeds are unrolled.
And these aren't small scrolls.
No. Each one stretches as far as the eye can see. Just miles of mistakes.
He must be thinking, I'm done.
Hopeless. He admits to all of it. But then a single card is brought out. Just a small card. And on it is written, La ilaha illallah.
There is no deity but Allah.
And he says, what's this little card going to do against all that?
But they put the scrolls on one side of the scale and the card on the other?
And the card outweighs them all. The scrolls go flying up.
Wow. It shows the sheer weight of sincerity.
But then, just so we don't get complacent, there's the opposite image.
The huge fat man.
Right, a man who is physically imposing in this life, a big presence. He comes on Judgment Day, but because he has no good deeds, the source says he weighs less than a mosquito's wing.
A complete inversion of how we see things.
And that leads to the final separation, and here, the surah gives us this terrifying dialogue.
The dialogue of the damned. It's not just silence in the fire, it's arguing.
It's the blame game. Nations enter the fire and curse the nations before them, followers screaming at leaders, "You misled us!"
And the leaders.
They retort, "You are not better than us." Basically, you had a brain, you made a choice, and the result is double torment for both.
The source uses a vivid metaphor for the arrogant. They won't enter paradise until the Jamal goes through the eye of the needle.
Usually translated as a camel. Impossible.
But there's another reading from Ibn Abbas, right?
Yes. The word could also be jumal, which means a thick rope, like a ship's anchor cable.
So, until a ship's cable fits through a sewing needle.
Either way, the message is clear. If you're swollen with arrogance, you can't fit through the narrow door of salvation.
Okay, so we have heaven and hell, but the title of this surah is Al Araf, the heights. This is that third place. Who are these people?
This is so fascinating. The people of the heights. The source explains these are people whose good and bad deeds are exactly equal.
50-50.
Exactly. They aren't good enough for paradise yet, but they have enough good to be saved from the fire, so they're on this wall, this barrier between the two.
Yeah, it sounds like psychological torture.
It's intense anxiety. They look one way and see paradise, and they say, "Peace be upon you," just desperately hoping to join them. Then they look the other way and see hell.
And they recognize people.
The source says they recognize them by their marks, and they beg Allah, "Do not place us with them." They are suspended between absolute hope and absolute terror.
But they do eventually get into paradise.
Yes, eventually mercy prevails. But that waiting period, it's a huge lesson in the value of even one small good deed.
One more good deed would have tipped the scale.
Exactly. And while they're watching, there's another exchange. The people in the fire call out to the people in paradise.
This part is heartbreaking.
It is. They shout, "Pour some water on us," or anything Allah has provided you.
And what's the reply?
Allah has forbidden both to the disbelievers. And the reason given is the key to the whole surah. It's because they took their religion as amusement and play.
That phrase, amusement and play, it just sticks with you.
They didn't take it seriously. They were deluded by the worldly life, the rish, the adornment. They focused on the costume, not the character.
And the consequences. It's stated in a really terrifying way. So this day, we shall forget them as they forgot the meeting of this day.
Being forgotten by the divine, that's the ultimate isolation.
Before we wrap up, the source uses a beautiful analogy to explain resurrection.
The rain analogy.
Yeah.
The surah asks us to look at the wind and clouds. The wind drives clouds to a dead, dry land. The rain falls. And suddenly, vegetation grows.
Something we see all the time.
And the source says, this is the logic. Just as the earth comes to life after being dead, humans will be raised.
And it mentions good land produces easily, bad land struggles.
A metaphor for the soul. The revelation is the rain. It falls on everyone. But the heart, the soil, determines what grows. Fruit, or just thorns.
So if we pull back,
right,
what does this all mean? We've gone from the very beginning of time to the very end.
If you look at the big picture, it's really a story about gravity.
Gravity, how so?
Think about it. Iblis thought he could rise because of his nature fire, but his arrogance brought him low. He crashed.
And Adam?
Adam fell. Literally, he was sent down. But through humility, bowing down, repenting, he was elevated. He defied the gravity of his sin by going low.
Wow. The heights Al Araf, they aren't for the arrogant.
Precisely. The clothing of taqwa, the weight of that card on the scale. It's all about substance over appearance.
And avoiding that trap of taking life as just amusement.
That's the core takeaway. The ambush Iblis planned, remember where he is sitting?
On the straight path.
He's trying to distract us on the road. He wants us to play while the time runs out.
It's a heavy deep dive today, but a necessary one. I think the provocative thought for me is that line about forgetting.
It really raises a question for you, for the listener. In the modern rush, with all our distractions and amusement, are we forgetting the meeting of that day? Because the source is clear. We are either preparing for the weighing or we are just playing.
And next time you see a rainstorm, don't just check your weather app. Look at the dead grass turning green and think of it as a rehearsal.
A rehearsal for the final rising.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you on the next one.